Sugar boom boom, I'm chasing dragons, and these dragons got my hand. Sugar boom boom, I'm robbing people, but I'm in darkness man. Sugar boom boom, I'm chasing dragons,
that's what I'm talking
and these
about.
dragons got my hand. Sugar.
All right. Hey, what's up, man? It's been a long time. My name is Joseph Romero. This is my YouTube channel, Breaking the Chains. I've been gone for a while, had to deal with some issues, and also no one really looks at my YouTube channel. Something I'm trying to get going every now and then. I put a video up. I try to put more content up uh, with my kids and everything. Sometimes it's hard. Anyhow, welcome to the set here, my grand set. uh, anyway, uh, things I want to talk about are in politics, of course. I want to talk about things I know, though, because I like to think I know politics, but every time I watch some snide fucker on a political show, they like to put people down who have an opinion opposite of theirs or differ from theirs. And then you have to be opposite. It could be like similar. Oh, well, that's just retarded or dumb, they say. They really put you down, and I got on that bandwagon. I've got caught up in the putting down of people, I guess. You know, some people make it easy, and you make an easy target to pick on. I'm sure I am an easy target to pick on in some cases. So uh, I won't be talking like I'm gospel. Not at all. I'm talking just my opinion. But I see so many people in these frames. They talk through a corporate mouthpiece, and it didn't even matter if it's on YouTube or wherever. You hear it, it's always the same. It's these people talking the same narrative, and I just sometimes I don't agree with it, and I'm like screaming at the TV, or I'm screaming at my screen here, and I'm like, what's going on with you people? I believe a lot of people that even follow the narrative are honest actors. I think they're maybe even gullible or something to that effect. uh you fall into a trap, and then you get vested in it, and then you have no place to turn except for your lie. Um, it sucks that everyone hates it's like this weird thing because everyone hates Donald Trump. Not everyone. Half the country at least hates Donald Trump, if not more. And the other half either really like him or like whatever. Like there's this chunk of people who are like whatever, right? Because it doesn't have an effect either way. Like they're so poor, the waves of the things that happen are in waves, right? And the closer you are to wave, the more it hits, right? Like stock market crashes, big wave happens, all these rich fuckers lose all kinds of money. What happens? All the poor fuckers who have no money, they just don't do anything. Nothing happens. But that wave is felt because the rich fuckers start making little turns to tighten their pockets up, and then it leaks down to the people who get paid shit wages, getting paid shittier wages or getting their hours cut. So there's like these big waves happen, and basically people don't give a shit, right? So when everyone's talking about Donald Trump all the time, I don't think anyone even cares anymore. I think it's like numbing to a lot of people. And I wish they would get off that topic. Like when in 2016 there was a lot of people who started talking about Medicaid for all, Medicare for all. They started talking about college tuition reimbursements, free education. Um, and all of a sudden, all this divisiveness came. Right, the presidential election came, and everyone started going ape shit and pulling away. Well, the powers that be clawed on to their power, and they didn't let it go. And so now you have really hostile people in power. You have Trump, who is a new face in power, and his administration is a new face in power. They're taking over, right? And all the old guard is still in there, and they're still trying to like claw their way out and in and keep things the same. And he's dismantling all these programs, and you know, and it sucks that he's dismantling all these programs. If the programs worked really well, I'd probably be really sad. But you know, like the EPA had already been sorry about that. The EPA had already been so corrupt. You know, they do good in some cases, but what are they doing in Flint? What are they doing with the fucking spill up in Colorado that leaked all through the Navajo Nation? You know, they sued Navajo Nation sued the EPA. And I don't know the whole story, but basically the EPA costed us money, and that sucks, right? And so they make their own case to get fucking ignored when people see that, you know, you have a pro oil digger in charge of the EPA, or when you have you know, the HUD housing guy just like against HUD housing, or the uh, Department of Education leaders are, you know, bill collectors. They're in charge of collecting bills. That's what they fucking love. And so, you know, you don't have systems there to help people. You have them there to help themselves. And so when they dismantle all these systems, I'm gonna say, you know what? It's almost like we need a reset. I don't want to suffer, but sometimes through the suffering, you get stronger. And I mean, that's the mantra of a Republican, of the right side of the spectrum here, is that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, right? So what do you say to that? It's true. It is semi-true, because there's parts of it, like, you know, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you crippled. In other words, that make you stronger, or do you end up, like, you know, getting mentally beat down? I think it depends on the person. And the whole survival of the fittest concept is not something that I necessarily subscribe to as an individual concept. I think survival of the fittest could be a people, a group. You know, ants can take down a lion. Um, you know, there's enough ants that if they wanted, they could rule the world. And so you have small things that can take over large things very easily. It's not a matter of being the fittest individual. It's more about being the fittest society. That is my opinion on that matter. Um, I think that we need to work together, and we need to squash differences that involve like individual gain. In order to grow a community, you have to give up a little bit of your own stuff, and like that's why we have taxes, right? Taxes is giving up a little of your own stuff, and that's what I mean by that. I don't mean like, you know, just giving everything up, being completely communist, like no property ownership, nothing like that. No, what I mean is basically we need to, as a community, decide what's best for us, and that's gone away. We're not a democracy, and if you believe that, then you are not awake yet. You're not paying attention, because only corporations have a say. The bigger the corporation, the bigger the say. And of course, it depends on what they are. Like, um, let's say Google or Apple, whatever they call themselves now. What is their name? Some fruit. I don't know. Google, uh, the Alphabet. That's what they're called. They're a huge corporation now, right? So if they want internet to be free or to cost more, they could lobby their lobbyists to. They have their lobbyists lobby the Congress to basically bribe them to make it cost more, whatever. And you have Microsoft in the mix doing their thing because they're giants, right? And you have Comcast, and you have Monsanto on the food side, and you have Nestle, and you have, I mean, just giant corporations. And then, of course, banks who lobby and regulate how we spend money, how we control stocks. Everything is basically mandated by these corporations, man, and those corporations have bosses, and those bosses answer to other people. So there's a very few people, yes, there's a very few people who rule the world, who rule what we do, who rule if we're gonna have stucco on our house or brick houses, or if we're gonna have fucking solar energy or dirty ass energy, you know. And the people have lost sight of ruling themselves in force of babysitters. And I don't know, it seems like we slipped away into a darkness right now. And I believe the American empire could fall. uh I think it could fall soon. I think it could fall within a decade. I think that we owe so much money to other countries. Other countries are doing great, and we are falling behind. We're behind on education. We're behind on the poverty gap. We're behind on uh, everything, man. You know, we have a giant collection of flat earthers rising up. Okay, now people are fucking going back in time. They believe in a flat Earth all of a sudden. Um, religious people really force upon your hand the fact that they want to tell you, that it's in God's hands. And so they don't even fucking try. It's like, well, God gave you hands. Use them. They gave you a voice. He gave you a voice. Use it. If you believe in God, you should believe that He gave you a purpose other than not to sit there on your ass and do nothing. And you know, work towards the greater good. All right. So like if you see solar power, the sun, God is the sun to some people, is the sun is God, and He's powering us already naturally, right? We need vitamin D, we need sun, we need warmth. Sun gives energy to our plants to grow and everything like that. So we need the sun, right? And the sun has this power, and we have this technology to harness the sun's energy into electricity, which then can power all the things in the world that we use. But instead, we literally are digging, think of the earth as a body, and we're digging at the body and digging holes in it and craters and siphoning it's siphoning it, and we're burning around it and smoking it out, and we're just really fucking it up. And if you think that is holy or you think that is good and godly, then you're fucking stupid. And if so like these religious people who follow the Republican mantra, like they're dig baby dig, money money money. You guys are against the fucking thing, exactly what you believe in. And there's no way to put that. Like, you guys are the seven deadly sins balled up into one. Like, one of the things in the Bible, it says, is like the greatest trick the devil does is to make you believe you don't exist. And also that he comes, the devil will come in the face of God. He comes as a poser. He comes as an imposter, and that's what you guys are believing in. You're believing in imposters. So, religious people, wake up, get your shit together. All right. If you're pastors, I've gone to some of these churches, and the pastors are anti-gay. They're hateful people. They preach hate to their fucking parishioners, and then you look around and they're all biting into it, and it's scary. It's scary. So I would give a shout out to all you religious people. Please get your head out of the sand and look at your fucking leaders. And they're not Jesus like, they're not God like, they're fucking devils in disguise. All right. Now, the non-religious people need to stop being antagonists. Like, I don't know what the strategy is in making the grand majority of people pissed off at the small people, okay? But the atheists and the like do this because they're cocky and they don't believe in God, so they make spaghetti monsters up and shit. And what happens is you get even more bitterness and more anger from people. They don't like you now, because you're just demeaning everything they believe in. And some people that works for, yeah, a slap in the face is what you need. but other people get slapped in the face subtly and it works. Okay, because I mean, most people, you don't need to like bluntly knock people out with a truth bomb, you know. And I mean, like, you don't walk up to a little 5-year old, and some people do, but you don't walk up to a little 5-year old and go, hey motherfucker, Santa Claus don't exist. You know, you don't do that. In the same way, you don't do that with religion. You have to respect people's beliefs. And that means anything, even right wingers and their crazy shit, because it all came from somewhere and it all means something to people. You don't just fucking do that. And I've done that in the past and I regret that. I do. Because there's meanings to everything, you know? I find that the movies we watch, I find that the music we listen to, it's all based off of things in the past that basically are are tools that our society uses to shape our minds. You know, the press was a massive one. The free press, the printing press changed everything. And then you have the internet. And no one, now you have instant, I call bullshit, right? You're like, oh well, you know, that was the biggest thing in the world I ever had seen, and or that's the biggest thing in the world, period. And you want to make that a fact, right? Like your old grandpa or your old your dad or your uncle or someone used to always say, you know, back in my day, no, 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 no. And then you just had to believe that shit, right? You know, oh yeah, man, yeah. But now we have video evidence, we have audio, and we have the internet that has archives and people who store shit for the unbelievable amounts of time. And guess what? Lo and behold, uncle, you are a lying sack of shit. Or, dad, that's not true. And so more people have to believe a broader base of people now than ever before. And it gets difficult to keep a narrative like the government used to. Because before they could just throw it out to the newspapers put it out to local media just repeated it, and that was it. Now with the internet, don't work that way no more. Now with the internet, people can look at their neighbors and say, hey, how's it going? You know, and not only their neighbors, they're going to look at their neighbor states and their neighbor countries. And so when we call like Russia the fucking worst country in the world, we could easily say, well, what about all this? Or what about all that? So it makes people sound very hypocritical. And when you're a hypocrite, you're untrusted and people don't want to listen to you. That's what's happened to the media today. And that's why people are numb. They're not listening because of the constant bombardment of bullshit and the fact that we can call it now, and that they gaslight us and tell us that don't believe our lying eyes, don't believe our lying ears, don't believe what we see and know, believe what we tell you. And I mean, it's something like I see that with football, you know, talking about football, like football freaks me out, right? Because number one, know the history, right? Know the history. Football started by the military. It started as in colleges and college recruitments to recruit people for the military. And then it got into the NFL. It got into a big deal where they have all this shit going on for propaganda. I mean, they recruit people at halftime. They do the military parades and stuff inside there. They have the Army Navy game. All these things are very core to the belief of football. It's basically a military industry, and it's designed to recruit and promote the values of the military. Okay, so you think about uniform. Okay, um, a guy wanted to wear a pink fucking shoelaces for his mother's cancer, and uniform code prevented that, so they fined him like thousands of dollars for the simple fact that he was wearing a pink something on it. In a football, right? In football, where these guys, you've seen the way they dress, they have their fucking hair hanging out, you know, they limit them, but when they have their rules, they keep their rules there. And and if you fail the rule, it's like in the military, you know, they're gonna write your ass up, and they're gonna have this whole list of things they do. uh it's very formal in that, uh, I mean, you can't. They monitor your social media. You know, they make sure that you're in line, and if you're not in line, you end up like the way of like Tim Tebow, or the way of who's that other Johnny Manziel. You know, you're out of line, you're out of there, right? And it's a fucking game. Think about that. It's a game. It's a game you play like children, and these are grown ass men. And but we idolize them. People idolize them, want to be like them, and they remember their stats, their records, everything, right? They remember the fucking Super Bowl scores and plays, but they don't remember anything about the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, or they don't remember anything about their senators or governors. They don't know any positions. They think they're right wing when they're left wing. They think they're left wing when they're right wing. All this shit is hilarious because things like football, baseball, basketball, they've all got us sidetracked. And I just use football as an example because I know more of it, the way it's more formal and stuff. But games are fine if you consider them games. But when you think of them as life, like you see some of these, football is life. I mean, okay, buddy, settle down here. Um, I wish we could get away from that. I wish we would know more about space and exploration. I mean, I wish we were like Star Trek. Be like Star Trek, head out into the world. We have no use for money because we use all our resources for everything we have, like to put it together to like better our society. And like there's no need for want anymore. It's more like your desire to better yourself. And 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 that just sounds so great. And I would do that in a flip of a switch. I would give up all my shit for something like that. But there's people who would, they think that's like the devil, the end life, the demons. That's what you're against. That's sloth. You want everything for you. It's scary, man, because you have these people brainwashed into thinking that you have to be for me, me, me. And me maybe revolve your family of 5 or 4 or 3 or 2, but that's about it. In this aspect, I feel like people want to fuck over like anyone to get to the top because that's really like the core of it, right? The core of capitalism is to capitalize on people, capitalize on someone to gain capital. You want to take over people, you want to conquer, and I'm against that, man. I really am. Like I don't want to take other people's shit, but what determines what is other people's shit? Like they take other people who have more shit basically took it from someone else. And you could say that they earned it, but the way our money system is so corrupt, right? Like the shirts I wear, the fucking clothes you wear are made by slaves. The reason we can afford to buy things is because we basically commit genocides and slave trades and underground black markets in order to control prices and control costs. It's not really free trade. It's more like dominant trade. We're going to tell you what the fuck you're going to spend it on and do. Look at Nestle. They take over Africa's water in towns and and they basically put them out of, they take the water from the town and make them into a drought, and they sell that water for what they get for like pennies on the gallon, fractions of pennies on the gallon. They sell it, for dollars, for less than dollars per gallon. It's insane. They're making massive money off of water from people, and then they're causing droughts. They did it in California. They're doing it over here, man. And I'm in New Mexico, and over here in Los Lunas, there's a big old water. I think it's Nestle. It's like another water plant though, and they're gonna be bottling the water here. And I thought, what the fuck? We've been in a drought for like 30, 40 years. You know, why are you siphoning the water from our fucking water table, the little we have? Just because you save some water, you think you could fucking go and use it? You know, um, and I mean like use it like that. I mean sell it. Not save it for like fucking future people, next 5, 10 years. I mean, they have like a 20-year plan or a 40-year plan, right? And they think, oh, yep, that's it. And we have enough water for that. We're under the limit. But you don't know what's going to happen. It's amazing that they would plan 40 years out and just start selling their shit that they guesstimate is going to fucking be excess, you know? Um, so I know I'm all over the place. This is my first comeback video. And so I'm just fucking shouting out and bitching about everything and ranting here and there. And And I don't have good editing skills right now. I'm going to develop those as I go, and I don't have an editor or anything like that, so I'm all on my own. And so you're going to have this big long ranting video about all kinds of shit, okay? Of course politics, of course a little bit religion. I'm not religious, but I do like to battle religious people who are pious and on their high horse. uh, However, I respect religion, okay? I just don't like uh, the liars in it, the outliers, like the straight outliers, like the Republicans who pretend they're God and family and then go uh, be gay with some dude and it's a child while they're married. That shit happens with all these people, and I have to say, like, hypocrite rings. But it's not only them though, right? It's the Democrats too. Like, Democrats big time too, right? Because they have involvements in sex rings, and they have like the big molesters and rapers on their side too. They have Weinstein, and like all kinds of shit scandals around the Clintons, and you know uh, it's unbelievable that people hold these people in regards like they're nice. I think they're shady. I think that the elite people on both sides are very shady. You have the Republicans that go have orgies in the woods, and you have the skull and bones people. They jack off to their mother in a coffin. They have yeah, the skull and bones have some sick shit. Uh, they basically blackmail each other, so they have dirt on each other. There's just a bunch of shit that goes on in these cults, and they're cults that rule the world, really. Like, they got they got their foot in the door early, maybe like the Freemasons, maybe like the Illuminati or whoever the fuck, right? They get their foot in the door. They have this whole secret society where they train up their own people, and then you don't know what the fuck's going on, but they do. Why don't we have solar? Why the fuck don't we have solar? That shit was out in the 60s and 50s. What the fuck, right? You know why we don't have it? They do, you know? I mean, we say it's money. It's money. It's just corruption and money, right? But really, like they're accelerating the end of the world. They're accelerating the end of us anyway. The world probably go on. It's been billions of years. They'll probably just kill us all and rehabilitate. Maybe more humans will come up. Maybe they'll do a better job. Maybe it's like Battlestar Galactica, where we fucking already lived this shit before. Oops, spoiler alert. Uh, what else do I want to talk about? Okay, I want to talk about some YouTubers. Definitely want to talk about some YouTubers. So YouTube, it fucking it doesn't pay to be on YouTube uh if you're new, I guess, like me. So I'm just ranting just to rant, right? Just so I can get my voice out, because fuck, man, I just need to talk. I need to talk to people. People like me. People who feel like me, man. I just want another voice to hear. I want someone to talk to me back. I want to feel important. I want to feel like I'm doing something for society, other than, like, I mean, people punch a clock. You think you're doing something? You're just barely staying alive, man. You know? I don't want that. Anyway, so I listen to some YouTubers. I listen to, of course, I listen to YouTubers, right? I listen to uh, Jamal Thomas. This is my first shout out to Jamal Thomas. I love that guy, man. He's great. Super smart. I love that he likes Star Trek, but I don't like Janeway. He likes Janeway. No, she's a great actress, but her role sucked. Anyway, that's another topic for another time, right? So one of the things I wanted to talk about was the YouTubers and how they battle each other, right? So I listen to Jamal Thomas. I also listen to Jimmy Dore. I used to listen to Young Turks like years ago, right? And I listened for many years, and I still catch them. They're one of the only live shows that I watch, and not live shows that I watch, but more like that they're on at a certain time that I can watch stuff. And you know, watching CNN is garbage. Don't watch CNN. It's gonna hurt your brain. Um, I watch them sometimes because a lot of the commentators that I'll watch will comment on shit like CNN and MSNBC and stuff like that, and so I'll watch them just for that. I don't watch Fox News, although I'll catch a few clips of Fox News where they're like seemingly solid, you know. Um, there's always a good piece in any of them, you know. I really don't read the newspapers because the newspapers are corporate outlets. Like they're just going to give you a narrative that you want. Like I like how the Young Turks will be like, the New York Times or the Washington Post is saying this shit, right? Who gives a fuck? Let them fucking promote their own news. Why are you promoting them? Why are you promoting the New York Times? Why are you promoting the Washington Post? You know, it's because they come up with this shit. Now, every now and then, there's going to be something you got to talk about, right? But not like the gossip page, bro, you know? Not like that bullshit that fucking isn't fact and gets retracted and then you don't retract it, you know? Um, so there's shit in everything and there's good things in everything. I mean, shit does make flowers, right? Uh, Jimmy Dore though is badass, man. Like almost everything I agree with him on. You know, he just like speaks from his heart. He's like the one truthful guy. Like he's so emotional, and he just rants on and he gets real truthful and shit. And he's like, fuck this shit, you know. And that's how I feel. And he's trying to like, you know, he has a balance. He has to maintain his professional and his social life. I mean, he is basically a lone wolf in a fucking place where he used to belong, and he's trying to wake up his friends, man. You know, that's what I think. I hope. You know, he's like, bro, you guys wake the fuck up. It's to drive me nuts. You know, you don't believe in bullshit. Why are you turning into the Benghazi Republicans? You know, and so you know, I like Jimmy Dore. I really do. And because of that, the Majority Report, which I used to watch often too, and also since they were like little Hillary supporters and shit, I have to say and so when I say Hillary supporters, like they're gonna say, I wanted, you know, they're gonna say they weren't. They're gonna say they voted for the lesser evil. But that is a supporter. You supported them at the end. You consented your vote to do whatever. Like a vote to me is a consent. It's giving them permission to go bomb a country, giving them permission to be in charge of the bomb, of the army, of the navy, of the marines. And if you give that consent, that's not given lightly. It's not because you're afraid of Donald Trump. You look at, I mean, if you have a 2 year old and a 1 year old, all right, and you have to have them drive a Mack truck, what is it going to be? You can choose a 2 year old because you know they're older and it's safer. What, you know? And that's how most of us felt about the election. You want us to pick Hillary Clinton, who is so fucking dirty and corrupt and a liar, who has multiple positions on same fucking policies, public and private, but we're supposed to ignore that shit because Donald Trump is blatantly fucking an idiot, you know? And one of the greatest deciding factor for me was really, I would rather look my enemies in the face than have my enemies stab me in the back. I'd rather get stabbed in the face than stabbed in the fucking back. I mean, watch me, you know? Watch me. Look at me. I'm telling you the truth of how I feel. I'm not just giving you some fucking uh platitude or some nonsense brainwashing bullshit that's been given out by a think group or something, you know? Uh that's the kind of YouTubers I like. That's why I like Jamal Thomas. That's why I like Jimmy Dore, you know? Tim Black. I like Tim Black. Tim Black is the man. And you know what? Tim Black is someone who tries to fucking make peace with everybody. And it's a hard motherfucking thing to do. And I give him props because he gets a lot of hate from people who want him not to give platforms to people who who may speak garbage, but you know what? I like Tim Black. He started off in his fucking his basement, just like a lot of people do. He started off. I remember people calling in and saying, "Hey, your audio is fucked up." You got some audio money, you know, and and people like Tim Black is just dope, man. I love what he does. He inspires me to do this. So shout out to Tim Black too. I do like Kyle Kulinski. Kyle Kulinski is another guy I think is pretty honest, but also he does fucking follow like a platform that's basically like a corporate form of a platform. He reads off the newspapers and the magazines, and he reads the trendy shit. So he's cool. He gives a legit opinion on that bullshit that they write. So I like that. Uh, Sometimes I just don't care about it at all. Don't give a fuck. You know, why do I give a fuck about some bullshit that happened so far away? And it doesn't have anything to do with our economy or our lawmakers. It's like gossip and rumors. So like things like that I don't care about. And I do see that covered on a lot of things. And so I also watch a few Republicans. I watch this psycho fucker. His name is Jesse something. Jesse, not Jesse Waters. Jesse. He's this black dude, and he thinks that there's no slavery. He thinks, fuck, what's his name now, man? Maybe it's Jesse Waters. No, Jesse Waters is that white dude in Fox. What the hell's his name? His name is Jesse something. Anyway, he always has left-wing people on, and he battles them, man. He puts his position out there, and completely is like he's talking to a dog. Oh, I can't believe it. This is amazing. He's like, they'll be like, I think people should be free to live their lives, and he'll be amazing. He's a crazy fucker. But I like to hear the debate. I like people to debate. I like people to argue their points, because one person, you'll notice, will make complete sense to you, and the other person is not making any sense. And I've seen this happen on both sides of the spectrum, left and right. And that's why I don't really consider myself that. I consider myself like a middle, I don't know, independent, really, because I'm not middle of anything. I'm extremely on one side or extremely on another. Like so I do a lot of stuff like that. I have a lot of various views. And if you listen to one media station, then you only believe in that one media's point of view. You really get into it. I argued with my aunties and cousins about MSNBC and CNN, and they were like hardcore Hillary voters, and you know why? Because they were just bought into it. And if everyone voted for Jill Stein that, believed in her platform, we would win, because everyone believes in the Green New Deal. Once they hear it, the Green New Deal is great. If you don't know it, go look it up on the Green in the Green Party. They're great, but they don't have good organization. And actually, what I've learned is the Greens and the Independents are what make the Democrats move. They make the Republicans move. Like they're the ones who are in an uproar all the time. That's why they're independent. That's why they're green, because they're fed up with the other people's bullshit, right? And to me, they're the most active people, the Greens and the Independents, but they've been shunned. And I even did it. I was like, I'm in the Democrats. The Greens aren't shit. They're never gonna do shit. I can't believe I was like that, right? And maybe they won't do shit, but they do shit in the background as the Green Party. Like, I would like to see an active takeover of a state. Take over a state. Fucking rule that state. Run it. Make it the best state in the union. Make other people want to be green. Make it Seattle, or fucking, not Seattle, but Washington, Washington or Oregon or one of these, Vermont, fuck, man. Make a state shine, make it pretty, do the policies that we want. And then you will prove to everyone But the Greens only show up in the presidential election, man. That I mean, as a presence, but they're always out there, including independents. You know, make it independent state. You know, start with fucking one county and move on up. It probably take about 5 years. Going through elections, but push, 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 push. I would love to see that. Not this effort that like Bernie Sanders, everyone getting people into the fucking Democrats. I understand that they're saying the Democrats are already like a big engine because people say the Democrats are like a car. And or people don't say that. I say that. The Democrats are like a car and the Republicans are like a car and we're on a racetrack, right? And whoever's in the car is in charge. So you have Donald Trump, he's in charge of the Republicans right now, or you have Hillary Clinton, she would be in charge of the Democrats, right? Now, what people don't understand is that Hillary Clinton is still like the leader of the Democrats. Like in the background, she is. Uh, she was elected to lead them. She was selected. Uh, however, all that money. You think all those people gave her money that she funneled and made? She became a millionaire again over and over. Funneling all this money through the Democratic Party. You think that they're not going to expect her to do anything? She still shows up. I like the way people are like, "We're talking about Hillary." They fucking keep bringing her up. She sticks her nose in and she goes gives book tours about how she lost because of Bernie and shit. It's a sad state that our union is in. That's what the State of the Union should have said. It's a sad state. We're about to fucking break off World War III here. You think Syria is going to be the conflict? I mean, Israel just bombed Syria, and Turkey just got shot down. The Israeli plane, Turkey plane just got shot down in Syria. What's going to happen, right? We're going to have some war going on. Anyway, I do watch wearechange.org, which is cool, and also it's not cool. I like it, but the dude on there bitches so much about like they're after him, nah? It's like he does a lot of conspiracy stuff and he does a lot of shit the mainstream media doesn't talk about, right? And sometimes I want to like, be on his side because he'll go up and follow people, but he'll follow the senators and track them down and fucking basically get them to discuss things, And I liked a lot of his early interviews were really good, but lately he's just garbage. It's all been like this. It's like, okay, wearechange.org has kind of done what the Young Turks did. Is like they're kind of on this like Donald Trump type bandwagon where fake news and they're using all these hot button words that you see done in Republican circles. And then Young Turks do the same thing with Russia. Russia. And no one's talking about actual things. Front page news should be something that's important, not sensationalized bullshit. I still watch RT. I watch RT. I like Jesse Ventura and watching the Hawks. I used to like The Big Picture with Tom Hartman, but I don't really care for a particular gentleman named Lionel. I think that motherfucker is a psycho, and I listen to him, and he is very, 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 very good at tricking you. So I do not like that fucker, and he's on RT a lot, and also Big Eddie, Ed Schultz. He really I like him, but he always has some fucked up people on, you know. He gives straight news. He does a good job, but sometimes he just has like that lie now on, and it makes me not trust him very much. Like, what narrative are you trying to give here? You know, I don't exactly know. Um, I listen to Tom Hartman, or I should say, I used to. Tom Hartman is gone though, guys. Like, he's like, in my opinion, one of the fucking founders of our fucking little uh independent pushing type media, you know? Like, he was like an original YouTuber. He was a ham radio fucking on it, you know, doing his shit in a fucking AM radio by himself shit, you know, and then all of a sudden he blew up. He's a great smart person, and that's why it really disturbs me that someone like Tom Hartman is just so gone. You know, like, I almost feel like it's senile because, you know, like, we all he taught us, a lot of us, how to, you know, decipher these fake Democrats and where things came from. He has a great perspective on history. Yet yet he will like do the same doomed history repeating shit, you know, and he unbelievable that he would even say that Hillary Clinton is a great candidate. What a fucking gross thing to say, man. You know? Uh yeah, he lost me. Tom Hartman lost me. I go back occasionally to try to, you know, get in. It's like fucking 2 minutes into it, it's about Donald Trump and Russia. And I'm like, dude, you know, I understand he's the president, right? And you have to cover him to some aspect, but limit that shit, man. I mean, at least do it to the things he's doing wrong, you know, not just all this fucking bullshit that everyone's just turning into these fake people. And one thing that Donald Trump really exposed me to was the fact that all these people are fake, a lot of them anyway, you know. It's kind of like my first awakening when I realized everything I was told was a lie, right? My first awakening, I became very cynical on things, but I still like clung to a few truth seekers or who I thought were truth seekers. And then later on, I like during the election and shit, like a lot of people really changed. Young Turks was one of the big ones that changed. You know, fucking MSNBC completely changed. Uh, and honestly, I used to watch MSNBC, and I used to watch CNN, and I used to watch Fox News, and I used to watch RT America and Telesur, and I mean all these fucking state-owned propaganda outlets. I watched them 24/7, man. It was sick. I had a sickness. I'd wake up early in the morning, watch Morning Joe. I'd fucking flip to CNN. I'd watch fucking midday shows, Andrea Mitchell, shit like that. Ugh, what's wrong with me? It makes you give up on the world, though. Makes you want to not do anything, you know? Um, what else would I like to say? There's a lot of other YouTubers out there, you know? The Humanist Report, Progressive Voices, um, uh, Nico House, uh, Benjamin Dixon and his crew. You know, I like Benjamin Dixon. I kind of find it weird that, like, I don't know. I think there's like factions in YouTube. You know, like for sure, you know, you have like your TYT network and they all click it, right? And then you have like Benjamin Dixon. And it's really weird because like Benjamin Dixon and his crew never they're really the progressive army. They have never that I've seen like talk to the Young Turks or talk to Tim Black. And Tim Black and his crew, Tim Black has a little crew of people also, right? Like that he would get together. And really Tim Black's completely independent, but At one point, he had a bunch of crazy right wingers that he was like clicking it with, and I think is because he got caught up thinking they were like lefties, or maybe he just wanted to give him help. But he was like doing fun drives for him and shit, you know, and like some of those guys are just not. I don't even want to tell you their names because like don't look them up. They're fucking tricky. They're liars. You look them up and go, "Oh, I agree with this guy," and then about 5 or 6 episodes in, like you know, someone's telling you that fucking the Nazis have rights and they deserve shit and whatnot. There's another guy, Sargon of Akkad. Like he's a crazy motherfucker, classical liberal who gives all kinds of conjecture and fucking what do you call it? All kinds of insight on American politics, but he doesn't. Why don't you fucking stick to British politics, you motherfucker? You talking shit over here like you live here. I don't go over there talking shit about Britain in detail. Like maybe there's something like Brexit or something going on I might have an opinion about. You know, but who is that motherfucker, man? Like people think that guy is all smart and shit, and really he just talks with an accent and fucking sounds cool. He reads a lot of books, maybe. I actually was on an audio book and I said, damn, this sounds like Sargon of Akkad. And I was like, who's this guy? It was all Benjamin something. I was like, oh, that's not him. But then that was his real name. His real name is Benjamin something. And he does fucking audio books for money too because, you know, that's the way you gotta do it. Anyway, yeah. I listen to a multitude of people, but ultimately I can tell just from a few people the narrative of the day. Is it going to be Russia? Who's bombing what? What's going on? Domestically, I would like to see a lot more going on. I would like to see a lot more reporting going on domestically about fucking our roads and bridges and fucking water and fucking our soil and our farming. And people need to wake up to know what's going on with our wages and with our labor laws and our unions. I saw Michael Brooks, who's another from the Majority Report. Michael Brooks was being condescending to Jimmy Dore, and he was like, "You don't think there's gonna be a strong left without unions?" But the fucking unions were dismantled in part by the Democrats. Weak ass fucking Democratic leaders like Tom Perez are why the unions are so fucking broken. Okay? It's not because of just the Republicans, because the Republicans sure as shit made the fucking police union stronger than fuck. Police can kill fucking people all they want. They can walk up to a baby and shoot them in the fucking head or throw a grenade at their fucking crib and they go fucking scot-free. Because of unions, because the right made their union strong. So, yeah, we need unions, but not fucking Democrats in charge of them. Not these Democrats. Well, you can get the Justice Democrats. They kicked out Jink and Kyle. They were the starters of the fucking thing. And they kicked them out, however they want to put it, they got kicked out, okay? Do you think they wanted to leave? You think they wanted to leave their fucking little baby there? That's, you know what? Until they left, I was actually really impressed. I was all, wow, man, they're getting all these people to run. But now, who are they getting to primary? Who the fuck is, what do you call it, vetting these people? How do you know the Justice Democrats? Like, number one, I don't see any transparency at all. But, like, so how are they vetting people? How do they get someone to run? Who are they getting to run? Are they skipping out people who are Greens? Are they skipping out people who are strong or longtime Republicans who change their ways? Or who are they vetting? Because I want to know, because you're telling us to vote for these people. Some of them are in New Mexico. Some of them are, I mean, they're everywhere, right? And I thought that was such a great thing because fuck these corporate Democrats. But if you're getting bullshit people to run and then just fucking promoting it with a little bit of money, because you have money to throw everywhere, like, I would like to know, like, what the fuck, man? That's just a hostile takeover of that Justice Democrats. We signed up for that shit. We were all happy. And you guys got kicked out. The fuck, Shut the fuck up. So, I rant about YouTubers a lot because I watch YouTubers a lot. and I want to be a YouTuber. So here I am, fucking wannabe. I'm gonna talk about all kinds of shit throughout this fucking thing, and it's approaching an hour now, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off real soon. Um, what else do I want to talk about though? Huh. I guess that's really it for now. There's many other topics I'll have. I guess I gotta write them down because I get a brain fart. I get all stoned and forget. But this is my YouTube channel. It's called Breaking the Chains because I want to break the chains that the fucking leaders put on our society and make us think that we're bound. They make us think we're bound to these fucking certain things. And we're not. We could open our mind and explore all these things, all the possibilities. Because what we think is what will happen. What we feel, think as a movement, as a connective people. We have the brain power, just like fucking Wi-Fi, baby. And we can do it. You and me. So let's do it. My name's Joseph Romero. This Breaking the Chains. Peace.